Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Narisha Bintira, metric number 1917116. Today I will present the background and the introduction of the Ottoman Empire and its western territory. First of all, the Ottoman Empire is named after their first ancestor, Sultan Osman bin Sauci um, bin Astrugul, bin Sulaiman Shah bin Kiaop. At first, during that era, the Tatar, which an ethnic group descendant of the Golden Heart, that the Turks tribes that led by the Mongols that subjugated Persia from the year 1237 was massively conquering the Muslim world before the 12th century. And the grandfather of Sultan Osman the First from an alliance with Sultan Alauddin and moved to Anatolia in Minor Asia. Sultan Alauddin is the king of the Seljuk Rum territories, or the Seljuk Rum country. In 13,000 Masehi, the Tatar attacked Minor Asia, but lost due to Sultan Alauddin's help and Osman's lead. And then during 1 year after that, Sultan Alauddin passed away. The Seljuk Rum also lost their king and forced to end their government. And during that time also, Osman took the advantage to declare himself as the Padishah, which is the king or the ruler of the Seljuk Rum. He also made Iskiyar as the center of his government, and also as the other rulers will do. He strengthened his army, developed the country, and established security, also defend. Also, after the Sultan Alauddin passed and the Seljuk Rum forced to end the government, he proclaimed that he is the biggest king after the Sultan Alauddin death, because he became the right hand to the Sultan Alauddin actually. He sent letters to all the kings of Minor Asia who are not Muslim at the time to choose among the three options, whether to convert to Islam or to pay jizya. If they didn't want to do both, then he will go against them to war. And most of the kings actually choose to convert to Islam, right? Because who wants to, who wants to fight the biggest king during that time? And some of them also choose to pay jizya because they stick to their religion. Next is, sorry. This is some of the timeline during that time. In the 1362, you can see the Sultan Orkan, which is his son, ascended to the throne. His son ascended to the throne after his death. He then followed his father's footsteps to move their center, but into the Brosa, and he chose his brother to be the prime minister. Only a year after he throned king, he conquered many of the territories, many of the land, and after a few years later, he conquered the second largest city after Constantinople, which is Nicaea. And during at the time, all Marmara Island fall into his colony, fall into his land. And thus the war with Byzantium began. That's the time of the war with Byzantium began during the Sultan Orkan rule. During 1359, however, Sultan Orkan died and throned Murad I as the king. Only 2 years after that, he conquered Adrianople without any much struggles. He changed his ethnic there. Also, for the 5 years after that, Murad conquered Balkan. A lot of things happened actually after Murad's death. His son Bayezid ascended to the throne. However, both of them was captured during a war in 1403. They were held as the Slavs, or was held at uh, the prisons of the country. I can't remember the country's name, but the Ottoman Empire was truly in mess after he died. His son Muhammad I finally came into the picture when he came back from the abroad and rearranged the Turkic Ottoman Empire, also conquered some of the regions back. And then after he died, his son died as king. Uh, his son was 18 years old back then, but even with that young age, he succeeded taking back Albania and Solinki. He then proceeded his attack to Falak. However, he didn't gain Falak because the king or the rulers of Falak choose to pay jizya or choose to pay for their safety yearly. During 1492, therefore, the 10 years of Sultan Bayezid II ruled, the king of Islam, the last one standing in Granada, has lost in war and forced to leave the city after 700 years conquered the land. This is the year where the Ottoman Empire became the ruler of the Maghreb territories, territories because of they were forced to leave their city. Next, the Western territories, which is the Maghreb, and 491 caused its population so much hardship that decided to seek an honorable surrender. Um, which negotiation began in October 1491 and ended in agreement on 2nd January, as a result of which the Castellan entered Granada without fighting. The terms of surrender were liberal, actually, permitting the Muslims to retain their property, practice their religion, and remain under the jurisdiction of Islamic law. The project of carrying the crusade against Muslims to the other side of the Mediterranean also was upheld by many interested parties connected with the court of the Catholic monarch. Also, during the first decade of the 16th century, the Spanish did occupied most of the posts they converted into on the Maghreb coast. Also, in 1487, the Muslims of Granada sent letters to both of the Ottoman sultans and the Mamluks of Egypt appealing for help against the Christians. However, the intervention of Ottoman Turks in the Maghreb did not arise from any plan of territorial expansion into this region because there are Muslim regions actually. However, due to the letters that was sent by the Muslim of the Granada, they came into the picture because to serve the Muslim people there as the major Muslim power in the Mediterranean at the time, the Ottoman Turks then involved in the affair of Maghreb, which actually was precipitated by activities of the privateers Urj and his younger brother Khair al-Adin Barbarossa, which meant here that they didn't rule directly or the Maghreb, but just indirectly ruled them under their ruling or under their laws, but actually did not rule them officially. Which brother Khan Adin, who succeeded him as the ruler of Algiers, sought help from the Ottoman Sultan and accepted his overlordship about a year after his brother's death. Actually, November 1519, he sent a present to the Ottoman Sultan with a letter which he offered his submission to him and some military help against the Spaniards because he figured that he cannot win against the other power that comes to gain their territories or to gain their land. Hence, they asked for the help from the Ottoman Sultan because they were the biggest power at that time, the biggest Muslim power. So the Ottoman Sultan, with open heart, accepted Khair al-Adin's submission and agreed to send him 2,000 Janissary troops and artillery, but before this arrived in Algiers, Khair al-Adin had to evacuate it. This is because, according to Islam, or according to our law, Islamic law, um, during a war, uh, we cannot harm the woman, we cannot harm the kids, and we cannot harm the plants. Hence, the evacuation. A formidable fleet was built in Algiers, which the Ottoman government regarded as the western division of its naval forces. It was actually Kar al-Adin's efforts to make a fleet there and build in Algiers, because during that time he was summoned, or he was sorry, he was under the submission, or under the ruling of the Ottoman Empire. And towards the end of 1533, Cairo al-Adin was summoned to Istanbul to in February 1534, however, was appointed as Admiral Kapudan Pasha of the Ottoman fleet, and immediately afterwards he was dispatched again to the Western Mediterranean with the mission of conquering Tunis. He succeeded conquered the Tunisia in 1534, August 1534, and defeat the Hafsid Sultan near Kairouan. With that, the whole of Tunisia fell into his hand. Also, during, uh, after that, there's some years which the Maghreb was formally divided into regencies at Algiers, Tunis, and and Tripoli. This is, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. The administrative system was in the Ottoman Maghreb was formerly divided into three regencies at Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli, and after 1565, authority as regent in Tripoli was vested in a pasha appointed by the Sultan, and the regency was provided a corps of Janissaries recruited from Turkish peasants who were committed to a lifetime of a military service. The administrative system imposed by the Turks was typical of that found elsewhere in the Ottoman Empire. Tripolitania, as all three historic regions were collectively designated, became a Turkish vilayet or province under a wali appointed by the Sultan, and it was composed of uh, four sub-provinces. These sub-provinces were each divided into 15 districts. Lastly, the day. The day was the title from Turkish honorific title, Dai, which means uncles. The title was given under the rules of the Regency of Algiers, Tripoli, and Tunis under Ottoman rules. It was in effect a constitutional autocrat, but its authority was restricted by the Divan and the Taifa, as well as by the local political condition. The Nahi was elected for life terms, but uh, in the 159 years during 1670 to 1830 that the system survived, 14 of 29 Dais were removed from office by assassination. Despite usurpation, military coups, and occasional mob rule, the day-to-day operation of government was remarkably orderly. And according to the millet system applied throughout the Ottoman Empire, each ethnic groups, which are the Turks, Arabs, Kabyles, Berbers, Jews, and Europeans, was represented by a guild that exercised legal jurisdiction over its constituent. That's all from me. Actually, there's a lot of the things that I've missed because of the time is not allowing to get so much longer of this. But if you have any question, you just ask me in the group, or you can privately chat me, and I'll answer it inshallah immediately. That's all from me. Thank you.